Happy Halloween, Scorpio! Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is your weekly tarot forecast. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. And that way you won't miss any of the daily, weekly, or monthly readings that we do for your sign. Okay, let's get into it, Scorpio. What is the message coming through for you for this coming week? What is it that you need to know? What is the energy? First card today. All right, Seven of Swords. Let's get into it, put that into some context with our Dove and Serpent spread. And that, of course, is going to include this mystery card, confirmation card, bonus card. We're not going to look at that until the very end, so stick around. And we're going to see if that will hopefully tie the reading together, give us the confirmation, or just kind of that unknown variable that we're looking for at the end, right? Kind of tie everything together. So let's see what we've got. It looks like we've got some pretty good things. We've got some major arcana. We've got, just a little bit of water, right? There's only one cup card here. And I promise, one day I'll have an overhead camera so I can cut to the shot. You can see what I'm seeing here. All right, because I see a lot of it seems like a lot of business going on. We got a lot of earth and air on the path of the dove. Really, it's all earth and air over here. Then when we move over to the path of the serpent, we got some more air, but we also have some water and fire. All right, so we'll see how that might play out and how that might kind of affect things as we go along. I think water is going to be really important, though. I already know that right off the bat because of how little there is. And the same with the fire, too. I think the water and the fire are going to have to be those two elements, those two forces within you that are really going to have to be brought out. Okay. But let's start over here, Path of the Dove. We've got that Seven of Swords. There is some kind of maybe misunderstanding going on in, I think, the workplace. But this could be in the domestic sphere, it could be in your living situation too. I see it's in some sort of a domain where there are other people involved, and these people you have a kind of a more professional or official relationship with, right? So maybe not your family, but I'm getting a sense of like maybe some roommates, maybe like if you live in an apartment complex, or in the neighborhood where you have your house, something like that, or in the workplace with coworkers. But it's more of just kind of a formal, official, professional kind of relationship that you have. But there's some sort of misunderstanding or some issue is going on where you're going to feel kind of like you're being attacked a little bit, right? With the Seven of Swords here, you are that central sword, right? You're trying to remain unified and upright and just, doing your thing, staying focused, concentrated. But then these other little swords, these smaller swords are going to be like annoying little daggers or little pins that are trying to poke at you, trying to pick at you, trying to either distract you from this one central sword, this central truth, this central idea, right? You're going to kind of stick to your story. You're going to stick to your plans, your efforts, your concentration is going to be singular. But it could be that these other swords are trying to pick you apart, trying to get you to maybe change your story, right? They're trying to trip you up or in some way cause you to deviate from that central sword, right? And this, again, could be in the workplace, could be in kind of the area where you live, or the roommate situation maybe. But I say the formal relationship, and I think it's more of that kind of a group of people because of two things. The first thing is this Hierophant card. So I think the central issue there is this Seven of Swords, right? There's some sort of misunderstanding, some sort of issue going on where you're going to be kind of poked and prodded and picked at a little bit to see if you'll waver, to see if you'll deviate from that central sword, either your central idea, your focus, or your story, your truth. And I think it's going to involve this larger group of people, right? The Hierophant sometimes here represents the institutions that we're a part of, right? So it could be in your workplace, could be in your church, temple, lodge, order, right? Something like that. It could be in your living situation, your neighborhood, your apartment complex, or in your home with roommates, but I don't see it with family members. I think it's someone with whom you have more of a contractual relationship, and I say that because there is this justice or adjustment card, which is kind of the card about legal matters. So I think you have some sort of contractual commitment or legal obligation with this group of people. And that's why we're seeing these two cards together. Okay? And that, I think, is where this is taking place. It's in that domain of your life. Okay? And now we have more of this air and more of this earth to deal with. In the recent past, I see this 3 of swords. So this is in the intellectual sphere. This is in the mental sphere, or in terms of your communication. I think maybe there was some sort of a revelation, some sort of an idea or a truth that was expressed in the context of this group of people. And that is kind of what's causing this whole issue. So it could be that it could be like a whistleblower situation, honestly, right? I'm getting that kind of a vibe here. Perhaps you blew the whistle on something, and that caused this 3 of swords a lot of upset, right? A lot of kind of friction and a lot of not so nice feelings coming from the other people involved, right? And I think that the challenge this week is going to be you sticking to your story, maintaining your truth, that central sword, while all these other people try to pick at you, pick you apart, and pull your story apart. See if you'll waver, see if you'll change your story, right? That could be. And if this is resonating with you, please let me know. Leave me some comments, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate all of the love and support that I've been getting here. I love doing these readings for you. Hopefully we can see our way through this situation. Again, I think it could be the strongest vibe, at least, that I'm getting is this kind of whistleblower situation, where you're the one that spoke out against something, and that's going to make a lot of people unhappy, right? And then at the top of the path of the dove here, we see this 9 of discs. And this is all about gain, right? So the question may be, what are you gaining? Obviously, right? What are you gaining from this situation? What are you hoping to achieve? What are you hoping to gain? Is it your sense of fairness and justice, and you see something, so you're going to say something, right? Is it more strategic than that? Is there some other motive for you to have this central truth, to have this central sword here? That's your story, and you're sticking to it, right? What is it that you're hoping to gain from this situation? Is it, an increase in your position or wealth within this organization? Are you hoping to, in some way, advance your own agenda, something like that? Or is it just because you have that kind of energy about you, where you're not going to tolerate any kind of unfairness or people being put at disadvantages? Maybe you saw something that was really kind of unfair to someone else. You're standing up for someone else. You're standing up for what is right. Okay. Now I'm going to jump paths here and go straight to the path of the serpent, because there's this 4 of swords. This, I think, is your sense of justice and fairness. And maybe you did see something that you didn't agree with, something that was unfair to somebody else, something that was maybe just unethical, wrong. You're standing up for what is right. And I see that you don't want conflict. You're not somebody who goes around kind of looking for an argument. But when you see something, you're going to stand up for that underdog, for whoever is being kind of harmed or oppressed or treated unfairly. I think you're going to stand up for that person or those people. I think that might be what's going on here this week. And I see that you don't want the conflict. You don't want the fight. But you just when you see something, you have to act. You feel compelled to do something, to stand up for what is right. And that's what we see. That's kind of, this card is in the position of your attitude this week, right? What's on your mind? Where's your head at? I think that's it. We're going to go back to the path of the dove here for just a second because we need to look at this immediate future card. This is the Prince of Discs. This might be a particular person, one specific individual involved here. Could be someone your age, maybe a little older, a little younger, it doesn't matter. But an earth sign person. Or if you don't know their astrological sign, and it's very possible that you don't, I don't really know anyone I work with, their astrological sign. But if they're not an earth sign or you don't know their astrological makeup, this is somebody who, in this group of people that we're talking about, they are the ones who are doing the actual physical work, right? They could be the people, the person on the assembly line, the one that's doing all the hard work, the physical labor of it, right? And I think this might be the person that you're either trying to defend or you're coming to their aid or assistance in some way. I don't feel like they're the antagonist here. I don't feel like they're the enemy or the opposition. I feel like this is the person that you are trying to be there for, or trying to assist or help or stand up for, or, or be a witness for. Somebody that is doing the hard work, right? The one that really is down there in the trenches doing the work, the physical part of this. In whatever this situation is, if it's, if it's in your living situation with roommates, or if it's, just in your neighborhood, or in your apartment complex, in your community, or in the workplace, or in any other kind of community organization, church, lodge, temple, order, whatever. I think this is the person that is the one that has a lot of physical activity involved there, and maybe there's an injury. I don't see a major sign of an injury of any kind, but it could be. It could be that maybe this three of Swords is talking about a bit of an injury that maybe you witnessed, or you were in some way a party to, and you're trying to stand up for what is right. Okay. And I know this reading isn't really very much like any other reading that I've given, especially for you. And I don't see or hear many other tarot readers on YouTube giving readings like this. So it could be that I'm completely off the mark. Maybe this is just not resonating with anyone. Either way, let me know. Leave me a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. All right? I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to get better. Always. Trying to learn. So thank you again for that. So now let's finish up the path of the serpent here, because there's some more things here that I think are important to you personally, not so much in terms of this situation, but how it affects you or what's kind of going on with you. Now we see this Fool card, and this is in the position of your relationships with the world, with other individuals. This is how you relate to people. And I think you have this very kind of freedom-oriented aspect to your personality. I think you have this energy, kind of a live and let live, kind of a real just like freedom, free spirit kind of attitude. You don't want people to interfere with the will or activities of other people, right? And you want to be able to do what you do, pursue your interests, your desires, your work, your goals, with relative freedom. You don't want people to interfere with what you've got going on either. So you kind of do have that hands-off kind of attitude. And we saw that with the Four of Swords too, where you don't want to get involved in conflict. You don't want to be a part of that. You think people should basically mind their own business. And with this Fool card here, I'm really getting that sense about you in terms of your relationships with other people, where you really do enjoy seeing other people have their freedom to do their work, pursue their goals and their happiness, right? And you love that. You love that everybody's just able to have their own interests. Everybody's unique and individual. So while you are, I think, an individualist, and you believe that, that your rights to pursue your activities and your joys and your goals and your work are just as important, if not more important in some ways, than everybody else's right to do the same thing. Now, I'm not trying to get political or philosophical or anything like that. I really don't like politics. But I think you've got this energy about you. It's a very accepting, very tolerating energy. A very hands-off kind of life where you just want everybody to do their thing and enjoy it, right? And so that is kind of what's playing into all of this other situation, right? That maybe you did see something that you didn't like, that went against those core values of yours, where you had to say something. You had to do something about it. And again, this might not be resonating right now, but this could be something that's coming in the next week, because this is a forecast, right? I'm not just trying to tell you maybe what you already know, what's already happened. So this could be something that is just kind of evolving now. The energies are just starting to come together for this kind of situation. And now we did say that there were some cups, and we wanted to pay some attention to these cups. The 9 of Cups, happiness. And this is another card sort of like this 9 of Discs. Okay, they're both number 9. So with the 9 of Discs, we were asking, well, what are you gaining, or what are you hoping to gain from this situation? How is it going to benefit you, right? How are you profiting from this? How are you going to be any better off because of this situation? Are you gaining anything from it, right? And then we have this 9 of Cups. This is in the position of your kind of concerns and worries, like the obstacle that you kind of have to overcome here in this situation. And the key word for this card is happiness, right? Are you gaining a sense of happiness and satisfaction and fulfillment and joy and pleasure from being involved in this situation? Maybe it does bring you happiness and joy, knowing that you're helping someone, knowing that you're standing up for what is right. In your eyes, right and wrong, again, somewhat relative. That's, it's debatable, but it's beside the point. Is your happiness involved here? Are you worried that if you don't act in this situation, you don't put yourself involved, that you're going to regret it later and that it's going to negatively affect your happiness, right? I think your satisfaction and joy and pleasure, your happiness, is very important to you. And for some reason, that's kind of your concern this coming week. Maybe you've not yet decided if you're going to get involved. And the one thing that's kind of causing you to be on the fence or hesitate or be reluctant to get involved is that you don't know how this is going to affect your happiness. Is this going to be just a disaster and this is going to ruin your kind of, your happiness, your joy, your pleasure and fulfillment that you get from being an individual and doing what you love to do? Or is not acting going to negatively affect your happiness and satisfaction? So this seems to be the dilemma with you. This seems to be the issue about this situation. And are you going to be gaining or losing any kind of happiness or satisfaction, joy, pleasure, fulfillment? Right? So are you damned if you do or damned if you don't? Or both? That, I think, is the conundrum that we're in. But we have the Knight of Wands coming next, and this is basically saying you're going to have to do something quick, right? It's going to be like this is going to happen, and everyone's going to look at you and say, "Hey, is that what happened?" Or what's your story? And you're not going to have time to really consider all of this energy. So you might want to consider it now. So when this event happens, if it hasn't yet, when this event happens, you'll be able to make the decision. You know what you're going to do. You're not going to hesitate. And you're going to do what you need to do right away. That's the fiery energy of this Knight of Wands. Fire on fire. This is not hesitating. It's not going to flip-flop or waver. It's going to stick to it. And this is going to be that fire that's going to keep this central sword upright, strong, focused, sticking to your story, sticking to your intention, your focus, and what is right. Okay. So now let's move over to this confirmation card and see what this might offer us as a kind of the unknown factor, right? The X factor. Now, this could be something like another cup. It could be maybe a 10 of cups, right? I don't like the 10 of cups very much, and if you are a fan of the channel, you know that. This could be maybe a 6 of discs. I think that kind of success in the material world will show us that everything is going to work out. You're going to make the right decision. Things are going to be beautiful and harmonious again and successful. And whatever choice you make, you've made the right choice. Right? I don't know. Let's just take a look, shall we? Okay, well, I honestly don't know what to do with this one. This is the Death card. But we should point out, the Death card rules the sign of Scorpio. Right? In most traditions of tarot, Scorpio is ruled by the Death card. So in some ways, this card is you. This card is confirming that you've got, like, it's, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't have the vocabulary to say how much, like, in control you are, or how much the universe and the spirit and the cards today are just saying that, look, this is all you. You got this. The only confirmation you need is just look in the mirror, right? Look within yourself. And you've got this. You're gonna do the right thing, and it's gonna work out for everyone's benefit. You're gonna be just kind of the hero of the story, really. And maybe kind of through the energies of this Death card, there'll be that transformation. Whatever is going on in this situation, because of you, things are going to transform and become, I mean, it's almost like a movie plot, right? There's some kind of injustice. Someone stands up for what is right, and in the end, there's this utopia. They've achieved it, and it's, you know, it's a reality. Now, I don't know if it's going to be that extreme, you know, or that, you know, that Hollywood or that motion picture kind of style. But I think you're going to be the hero of the story, and I think you're going to be responsible for transforming the situation from whatever it was before that obviously wasn't really working or wasn't right or wasn't fair. You're going to be responsible for transforming that situation into kind of damn near this utopia, right? It's going to be really, you're going to be responsible for bringing the system down and creating this new system. Now, again, it might not be that extreme, but I think you're going to be the hero of that story. And so, at first glance, Death card, it's not going to work. Things are just going to be a complete disaster, complete mess. Things are just going to, everything's going to decay and rot and be miserable. Until we realize that the Death card rules Scorpio. So this card is you. And this figure is kind of your vibe, I think, coming this week. And this is just cutting down the opposition, cutting down the unfairness or injustice or whatever it is that's going on. You're going to just tear it down, and you're going to allow it to regrow, be reborn into something much more closer to your ideal. And now maybe that puts a lot of pressure on you, and I don't mean to. Let's take it down a notch and just remember that we started with the Seven of Swords. It's really just about staying focused, not letting these other swords distract you from your goal, from your will, from your intention, from your central sword, that central truth. Not being pulled away no matter how much people or other events pick and poke and prod at you. Stay true to what you believe. And I think that's it. I think that's it in a nutshell. We're going to look at this a little bit in the extended version. If you want to become a member, you can hit the join button on the main page or follow the link in the description box down below. And definitely leave me some comments. Let me know how you feel and how you're doing. This was your weekly tarot forecast on Dove and Serpent Tarot. It's literally just warm water.